Here's Sacramento City College head coach Dave Pacheco, representing the California community colleges here at the NWCA Convention. Coach, you've been involved with the NWCA quite a long time, mostly as a board member and liaison for the California community colleges. What do you come in here with in terms of plans and ideas to try to promote wrestling within California, where not just at the Division I level, but the community college level has seen some cuts because of the budget crisis out there?
Yeah, you know, as far as the community colleges go, I'm trying to get more and more of our teams to come out and represent our schools here. I think the biggest thing for us is trying to get people to realize the opportunity at the four-year level of recruiting from our schools. So getting together with the four-year schools at all levels, NAIA, NCAA, D1, 2, 3, whatever, let them know about our programs, how we work. We're a fall sport, which is different than everyone else, and then getting them the understanding of how you can get our kids to come to your programs and improve your program, give our guys a place to go.
In terms of it being a fall sport, it's kind of been an anomaly and kind of an interesting concept within the sport of wrestling. You guys are the only thing going on in the fall, and you get a little bit of exposure that way. But the league as a whole, you got North and South, you come together for state championships, which is very competitive. Talk about just basically the setup of the California community college system, where you get the athletes, most of them are local, that type of thing.
Yeah, back around 1982, the coaches at that time decided to go to a fall sport. I have no idea why. I personally like it. I like a one-semester sport for, I think, any sport. And when you look at the college level, really there's only two sports that, in most instances, that are a split semester: basketball and wrestling. I think it had its play in the day when people were multiple sports people, but you don't see that too much at the college level. High school level still makes sense, but at the college level, I don't think it makes as much sense. It puts a lot of pressure on the kids. But for us, overall, it works out well. You don't get as much competition against some of the four-year schools because we're starting earlier, but toward the end of our season we can get that competition, which is a good time because we're peaking at that time, you know, so it's a great time for us to get that competition. Academically, I think it's really good for the students to have a one-semester sport so that other semester they can just focus on academics. Although reality is most students do better in season than they do out of season, at least with my program, academically. So I think that's an interesting thing to look at. I don't know if there's any studies on how students do at any level in season compared to out of season, but it'd be something good, interesting to look at. I don't even know where else to go with that.
Well, let's move to the state championships this year.
Oh, okay, state champions. This year, the state champions of Santa Rosa. Jake Fitzpatrick's the head coach there. I think he's going to retire after this year, but don't quote me on that, even though it's on video here. But I think he wanted to have the state meet before he retired, so he's going to have that out there. Our state meet is very solid. I mean, you look at the kids; they're the top 4, top 6 guys in our state, and most of those will go on to four-year schools and do well, anywhere from D1 on down to NAIA. So we want to get our guys out there. We want to get our guys peaking at the end of the semester and getting the four-year schools to look at them, to bring them into their programs.
In regards to the association with the NWCA, what are some things that you can take back to not just your program but your other fellow coaches in California that come out of this convention, whether it be the general state of wrestling, because you know if the focus is on D1 and losing programs, you guys have had budget cuts and programs have been dropped as a result. Strategies, ideas that you guys are going to take back out there and try to implement?
I just think the biggest thing for our guys is we need to be more involved with the NWCA, so we can work in conjunction with them. And then what I'd like to see the NWCA do, and they do it at a grand level nationwide, but I'd like to see them get a little bit more involved in trying to grow our sport in California, because we are a different season, we are a different association. We still have 20 schools, you know, and a lot of people, you know, when you look at it as a former California guy growing through the system, it's like, well, not very many schools, but when you look at it in the big picture, 20 schools in one state, that's a lot of schools. If we could get 10 more, I think over the next 5 to 10 years, and get it built up a little bit so that we have a few more teams, I think that's what I'd like to see is, what do you focus on? What schools do you look at to bring wrestling in, either returning to a school or starting a new school? We have 115 or 120 community colleges in California. and like I said, only 20 of those wrestle right now. So I'd like to find some way to get Mike Moyer and the NWCA board looking into starting some programs down the road. Right now in the budget crunch era, might be very difficult. But a year or two from now, when the monies are stable, let's try to get some of those programs going, just like you are everything else, the NAIAs, D1s, and whatever else you have out there.